Hello, we're working on a Kenmore sewing machine, model 385-127-8180, and it was dropped off, and the issue was that the reverse lever had been sticking, which is this. And so the owner had it apart and put it back together and to repair that, and had a few screws left over and a small spring. And I'm not sure where all those things come from yet, but I have it open and just wanted to kind of point out what we're working with. So we took out the we got at all the screws that were necessary to get the cover apart. And so that button I just showed you pushes this lever down, and then when you release the button, the lever is supposed to pop up. So let's see if that's what happens. And it moves very slowly. And that's an indicator that the oil has kind of gotten old and slow. So we'll put some oil in there and we'll loosen that up and come back to it in a little bit here. But we did find the location of one of those screws right here. If you look at this dial, it's kind of floating freely because one of the screws goes through the front plate in there and sets that up. I believe that's thread tension. So it's good we didn't run the machine without that. It wouldn't have behaved properly. And actually there may be more than one screw amiss from there because it wants to come out of my hand. But we'll deal with those things, and then we'll check back in here in a little bit. Still haven't found the location for that little tiny spring. First things first. Okay, I'm back. I was able to lubricate the reverse lever so that it springs right back. It actually is connected with a lever through down to the bottom over here to a rod that pivots, and there's also a little bit of lubrication up here that needed to happen. But it pops back now instead of sticking, and I took the two screws that we had and used them to attach the thread tension, and that looks good. It doesn't look like those are both the screws that went with it. It looks like one of those screws came from somewhere else, but that's the screw that was left over, so that's the screw I used. I'm not sure where this little spring goes. I'll continue to think about that a little bit here, but I'm comfortable that we've got at least the hanging parts of it back together. I plugged it in. Seems to work without coming apart nice and smoothly. We can change the direction and it pops back and forth with no problem. I'm going to put the case back on this and be in touch.